Hello everyone, my name is Abraham Lincoln and welcome back to World of Himmelsdorf Banana Rush. I am playing the WZ 11111111114 in a platoon with the one and only Irishman you know best as John Harmon and the legend, Mads. If you don't know why I am calling him a legend, I put a video of him up somewhere around June of him. Well, you know what? I'll just link the video in the video right now. It should be on screen right now. It's called The Legend, and Mads does things in the video. Go watch it. And now that you are back from watching that video, it was a fun video, wasn't it? Great stuff. There won't be a update video on the news episode of the WZ1111. You get the point. Because I have never so far fully upgraded this tank. Why do you ask? Well, the thing is, this tank, as the second engine, has 580 horsepower. The top engine, which is 46,000 experience, which is literally 1/4 of the way to the 113, gives 20 more horsepower. You go from 580 to 600 horsepower. That gives you 0.7 extra horsepower per ton, doesn't lower the chance of fire, but gives you 100 HP to engine health. So that means my engine will get knocked out less. The thing is, this crew has that perk where you get less engine damage. So the whole point of me trying to grind out 46,000 for the engine and then another 200 for the 113 is just not working for me. So this tank will never be fully upgraded. Therefore, it is not applicable to be used in the news because it's not fully upgraded. However, you will get a separate video of this when I get my 113. My plan is to, when I have almost enough XP to unlock the 113, I'll start recording when I have around 2000 XP to go, which is maybe 1 win or 2 losses. And that will be the last kind of video of the WZ111 you will see quite a while, probably for me playing it. Because I don't have a crew for it, the crew that I have in the WZ will go to the 113. And some people think that the WZ is better than the 113. However, the 113 is an upgrade in almost everything except the alpha on the gun. You get a 440 alpha gun on the 113 and 490 on the WZ111. And that 50 alpha, you know, it's nice, but holy but Jesus, is that 490 alpha painful for the enemy. Like, they know if they have been hit by a big fat shell. On the 113 you can roll quite a bit lower. You can roll up to 330, I believe. I'm not quite sure about that. Let me just have a quick look. Yes, 330, and that is, well, let's be honest. If you roll 330 on a tier 10 heavy tank, meh. Then again, you know, the T125 can roll for 300. That is his absolute min roll. So you have to take the good with the bad. 440 alpha is still better than 400. However, you know, you cannot beat the 750 on any 100, but you have the mobility in the 113, and the 113 has an amazing rate of fire. If you don't have Brothers in Arms, but you're using Vance and Ram, you have 8.44 second reload. That is really, really good for a heavy tank. But that is the 113, that is the tier higher than the WZ111. That's the whole point of this video, the grinding towards the 113. But I cannot say anything extremely bad about the WZ1114. It trades in armor for mobility, and that mobility is really, really nice. Even with the 580 horsepower engine, you get up to speed with this tank. And fair enough, its frontal armor does not count for anything. You can aim for the lower plate, but you might as well just aim for the upper plate if you're a tier 9 or tier 10 tank, because you will pen it anyway. Its upper plate is garbage. There's one big fat problem with the 113 though. A perk that is not on the 113, but the WZ111 does have. And I'm not talking about meeting tier 7. No. I'm talking about the gun sound. Because the gun sound on the 130mm in World of Tanks right now is just eargasm. It is so good. That gun sound, it's why I want the 263. It's why I really enjoy playing the WZ111. It's not even like it's a good tank, the WZ, but that gun sound. I want more tanks in the game with that gun sound. And I know the IS-7 has it, but I will have more fun playing my 263 with the 130mm gun than the IS-7 with the 130mm gun. And seeing as that artillery is probably aiming this way, we have enough tanks assaulting him, I'm going to sit in cap and farm some loser points. Now, before I start talking about the stuff I want to talk about, I have to say I had massive difficulties recording this actual game. The first time recording it, OBS crashed halfway through. It just stopped. So I was like, well, shit. So I have to restart it, rewatch the whole game again. Warning, by the way, this is a long game. I'm not going to lie. You've seen the length of the video. This is a long game. So I had to rewatch it. Second time, I almost finish recording it. OBS crashes again. And I'm thinking, alright, I can just skip to the end and then record the last bit, stick it together in, what's its face called, editing program, and then work with that. Oh, no. Because OBS crashed, it corrupted the file. So all I saw was a green screen with sound. And I'm like, well, the sound is nice, but I can't really use the footage because it's green. So that was the second time. The third time, I had enough. I've seen this game at this point, like maybe... I've seen it before as well to check out if it was actually a good game and not just Reese sending in, hello, it's just good, I kept it back, shoot people. I've seen this game at this point like maybe 3 or 4 times. So I start up the replay, press record, walk out the room. And halfway through, I will notice when I come back into my room that the mini-map is itty bitty tiny titty. So, me... at that point, screaming at myself that I am really, really stupid, cannot be bothered re-recording this game again. So you're going to have to sit with about 7 minutes of tiny minimap. My apologies, but I don't want to watch this game again recording it. You know, while recording that, I just thought I can make a new layer, crop out everything except for the minimap, enlarge that to about 2, maybe 3 times its size, and then overlay it onto where the normal minimap size would be. However, that would mean I have to actually put effort into making this video. And it's currently 1 o'clock at night on the 9th of November. Which brings me to my next story. For me, it is the 9th of November. In America, it is the 8th of November. Election day. The thing is, I don't really care who wins. It might be Trump, it might be Hillary Clinton, it might be Jill Green, it might be Gary Johnson, or whatever the face name is, the 5th guy. I don't care. I don't live in America. Like, yes, this is a big thing, but he's not going to be the president of the world. He's going to be the president of the United States. A big country, an influential country, but that is not going to change anything in my meaningless life in the Netherlands. Unless they declare war on the Netherlands and or Europe, then I might move to Switzerland where everything is neutral and I cannot be bothered with fighting a war against Americans. However, it is all over the news here. It's all over the news in Germany. It's all over the news in Denmark. It's all over the news probably in Singapore. It's all over the news in Australia. It's all over the news in Mexico. Oh, well, especially Mexico. Jesus, Trump, wow. It's all over the news everywhere except for probably Russia. Russia is very, very pro-Trump. Why? Why is it all over the news in the whole of the world if it is only for America? No one gave a flying monkey about the elections in Taiwan. No one gives a flying monkey about the elections in the Netherlands. Is that televised all over the world? Hell no. Then why are the elections of America, which literally only is for Americans, because Americans can vote, broadcasted all over the world? Now I have to admit, and South Park is right, this is a choice between a turd sandwich and a giant douche. I'm not going to lie, I don't agree with any of these candidates. And this is the only video where I would allow politics in the comment section. So, you have fun in there, be nice, don't stab each other in the back, opinions matter, everyone has their own opinion. Don't start fires, I'm warning you. But why is it that, like, no one gives a flying monkeys about elections except for the American election? like I've said like maybe a minute or two ago, no one gave a flying monkey about the election in Germany. People might care about the elections in Russia, but they don't matter because Putin will win with 140% of the votes anyway. So, you know, they will start and everyone knows who will win anyway, but they're not televised all over the world. So why is journalism so focused on a guy with a ferret on his head and a woman who has far too many problems with correctly saving emails? But then again, news in Britain on the 8th of November. This is actually true. There's a picture of it on screen right now. The shape of a Toblerone has changed to lower the weight, and that has caused an outrage in England because you cannot change the shape of Toblerone. That news was more important than election day in America. So well done, Britain. Even though you did Brexit, you still get a point. But, you know, you're still minus 90 because of Brexit. So, which is a good point. Brexit was not an election. It was a referendum. And that was big because it wanted to leave Europe. Europe, a combined effort by all the countries on the continent Europe. Like, for example, if Florida wanted to vote, they wanted to leave America, everyone in America would cheer, but that would be televised because you cannot just suddenly decide, alright, I'm gone, see you, boy, bye. Well, except for England, because apparently England can do that. And there, about a minute and 45 seconds ago, I noticed that the minimap was tiny. I slammed my face into the desk, hit the plus key a few times, and now here I am, in my chair, watching this game again. And Reese has fired some APCR. I mean, and nowadays in World of Tanks, in a tier 9 game, and you're in a tier 7 tank, you would fire APCR as well. Don't lie to me, you would do it as well. But I want to talk about a phenomena that you will only see in World of Tanks. Imagine, you're in a street fight with some tanks on the other side of the street. And there's a bit of rubble to the left of this street, and of course there's buildings. So every tank will hide behind that rubble, park sideways, in a like 45-degree angle towards the enemy, drive out, fire, pull back. Now imagine 3 or 4 tanks behind each other doing this. The first tank drives out, the second tank drives out a bit further, the third tank drives a bit out further to shoot the enemy on the other side. You are at the back, driving out all the way past the third tank to fire. There is a picture on screen now what I mean. And then all of a sudden, those 3 tanks pull back, and you are there left out in the open for all the enemies to shoot at, because all your cover just drove away. There's no allied tanks at least aiming at the enemy, so he just has a free open shot into you. This has happened far too many times by now that I'm starting to wonder, am I the Moses of World of Tanks? Do I part the World of Tanks, just tanks blocking me, to open a path for whatever wants to be there to shoot me? Because I think I am godlike in the most terrible possible way imaginable in World of Tanks. And like I said, the most terrible way. Not the good way, not as in I shoot everyone and my shell fly exactly where I want them to go. No, the opposite. And Reese has found himself in quite a pickle. He just got rushed by a T-54E1, who got miraculously killed, I believe, with T-49. And Reese is now fighting an ST-1 without his APCR. The good part is, he still has the lower plate of the ST-1. The better part is there's a 3090 going towards the back of the ST-1. The great part is he has artillery cover from the GW Panther and the T-49. The 3090, however, is not penning his shots, he missed the lower plate, and Reese, isn't there artillery on the enemy team as well? Recording this video, however, or at least this particular game, I noticed my crew voices are back. No idea how that happened. But that German fella cannot stop talking right now and it's really getting on my nerves, so I'm glad Reese died. You have had an amazing game. All you have to hope now is that your team can go on to kill the T-30 and S-51. And that is going to take quite a while. The T-49 has found the T-30. The AMX 3090, probably reloading by now, halfway done reloading. He was reloading while assaulting the SD1, is rushing towards the T30. T49, however, for some reason, decides to punish the ground instead of the T30. The ground, who is there always to support him, catch him if he falls, shoots him. So, you know, this T49 not really nice to his loved ones, I guess. Enemy artillery missed the T49, happily. That GW Panther put a shot and a half into that T30, and that 90 is starting to rush the T30 now. Everyone is a one-shot for everyone right now. Even the artillery is a one-shot for everyone. Did I say everyone for everyone? I meant the AMX 3090 still has to shoot this T30 twice, which he does. 3 versus 1. 2 extremely mobile light tanks and an artillery versus an S51, an artillery not known for its mobility and speed. So, to fill in the time, I'm going to talk about the history of one of the most important transport vehicles in the Netherlands, the bicycle. The dandy horse, also called Laufmaschine, or Draisien, I think it is. It wasn't actually a bicycle. Was the first human means of transport to use 2 wheels in tandem, and was invented by the German Baron Karl von Drais. Also, do you want to see an extremely pucker moment? Because this was it. This was the T49, driving like an idiot. The dandy horse is regarded as the modern's bicycle forerunner, and it was introduced in Mannheim in the summer of 1817 and Paris 1818. The rider sat astride a wooden frame supported by 2 inline wheels and pushed the vehicle along with his or her feet, steering the front wheel. It didn't actually have pedals, but you had to propel yourself by running while sitting on this wooden stick with 2 wheels. And this T49 is still at it, with puckering up all of our buttholes to a combined power greater than the bomb in Hiroshima in 1945. Now let's go back to the bicycle. The first mechanical propelled 2-wheeled vehicle may have been built by Kirkpatrick.
Get down.
Alright, who switched the channel? That's not cool, because the 3090 just found the artillery, and that artillery... well, I mean, artillery is completely balanced, right? But seriously, no switching channels, because now it gets interesting. There's less than a minute left, and that T49, who has almost killed himself twice now, is on his way to a 1v1 with that artillery. And if I'm really honest, I didn't even know you could switch channels on this. How did I never know this? I would have switched to something different entirely. Many weeks ago. Because then I don't have to put effort into making videos and I can just show something else. But here it is. The 1v1. Will artillery miss? Is he still reloading? Is it T4? He just fired on the move. Okay. Whatever.